This isn't a democracy. This is a cheerocracy. And these aren't spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers. Oh, Mickey, what a pity. You don't understand just how much this comedy really lands. Oh, Mickey, you're so pretty. You can't understand. It's comedies like this, Mickey. Oh, what you do, Mickey, Don't break my heart, Mickey. I'm John Renton with the Retro View of Bring It On from 2000. One of my favorite comedies of this era, and a comedy that still holds up some 25 years later. It continued the ascent of Kirsten Dunst, as well as the ascent of Elijah Dushku, and Gabrielle Union arrived and did a lot of really good shit after this. I mean, Kirsten Dunst, from Interview with the Vampire to Dick, really should have thought of a better transition there, but I digress. And Elijah Dushku being in Buffy and Angel and other projects, and that means it. But look, it's a lot of fun. It's silly. You even had Jesse Bradford, who would go on to be in films like Swim Fan. Oh boy. Oh boy. Who remembers Swim Fan? I think I retro-viewed Swim Fan, actually, to be perfectly honest. If I haven't, I will at some point. But boy, that movie's a goddamn mess. What wasn't a mess is Bring It On. The sequels were. They did a lot of sequels. A lot of direct-to-video sequels. This ended up costing around $11 million and would make $68 million in the U.S. and just over $90 million worldwide. And do the inflation calculator stuff for yourself, folks. Whole thing is, this made quite a bit of money. And would end up leading to the subsequent sequels that really were just goddamn silly and ridiculous, including a horror spin. I believe Bring It On, Cheer or Die, I think is what it was called. But this one was directed by Peyton Reed, who did Down with Love, The Breakup, as well as Yes Man, and the Ant-Man movies. That's right, the guy that did this would go on to do the Ant-Man movies. And this was written by Jessica Bedender, who did First Daughter, as well as Aquamarine and Stick It, and has not written a movie since Stick It. She decided to stick her sword in the sand and said, that's it, I'm done. But you have Torrance Shipman, Kirsten Dunst, who takes over the cheer squad known as the Rancho Cucamonga Toros. I know it's not Rancho Cucamonga, just work with me here because I just want to make fun of the Bucks. And takes over the Toros and finds out that she was left a goddamn cheer squad that got routines that were ripped off from the previous captain, Big Red, as they nicknamed her, when she went to the East Compton Clover High School and ripped off their cheers. And now, basically, Torrance is trying to make amends and help out with ISIS. That really could have been worded a whole lot better. Gabrielle Union's character, I should just call her I, because it sounds a lot better. And then we get bingo bango competition, stuff like that, and we also get a romance between Jesse and Kirsten, and from there we just have a fun movie. We also have Elijah Dushku being silly and goth, as she was known to be at this point. She has retired from acting since, she's had an interesting career, I'll say that much. But yes, this is as 2000s as it's going to get. There's really no goddamn way to describe it other than that. There are certain words that are used in this that really shouldn't be used. A certain F slur in regards to gay people that, boy, even back then, very much a product of its time. But we are the Toros, the mighty Toros, all that, this kind of stuff. And then Kirsten Dunst has a dream that she was topless in front of a gymnasium. I like Kirsten Dunst, by the way, and I was actually really happy that she was in Civil War. And I'm just thrilled that she's still getting, big roles like that, because she's one I think that really got forgotten about after, say, Spider-Man 3. Even though she was in other movies, it felt like she got pushed to the side as far as being, one of the young up-and-coming actresses that started, again, an Interview with the Vampire when she was, the fuck was she, 10? I think she was 10 when that movie came out. She might have been 9 when they filmed it. The thing is she did good there, showed just how much of a child prodigy she was, and will go on to, be in films like this, and then ascend to the Spider-Man trilogy, the Sam Raimi one. And then it just seemed like, even though she was in films, she got forgotten about. In all honesty, the film is not great. There are silly points to it, but it is typical and ridiculous, but it is just so fun. It is so goddamn fun. And there's, silly writing, about Big Red, she puts the ass in massive and horrifying. That's all I'm going to say. And the itch and bitch and so on and so forth. Torrance becomes cheer captain. There's a character named Carver that takes a goddamn dive. It's kind of hilarious. Ends up in Traction. Kind of like, not like Kenny Omega when he spit up blood on AEW television recently. If you get it, you get it. And then they have to find another person to be in this. Recently, Cliff and Missy, Jesse and Elijah, moved into, or Eliza as is, moved to the school, or moved near the school. And now Missy, goth-like and everything, is going to be on the cheer squad. Says, your school has no gymnastics team. This is a last resort. And there are some fun moments in this. I mean, it's recounting a silly plot, and it really isn't much of a plot such as it is. And then there's cheerleading competitions. People cheering cheerleaders. Missy is bank, all these silly lines. I was 19 when this movie came out, by the way, so this hits the nostalgia buttons just right. And it's cold in here. There must be some Toros in the atmosphere. But Missy then says, oh, you ripped off that cheer. What do you mean? Because Torrance didn't have a clue. So Missy took her to the goddamn East Compton Clovers and saw that and was like, holy shit. And it was like, we got to get something better. We got to do better. We can't rip off these people. And also, Torrance had a boyfriend named Aaron that was already sleeping around at school, or at college, while she was still in high school. I think just about to graduate high school. There's like a year age difference. And he's not necessarily the most supportive guy, shall we say. There's this flashback thing about dropping this spirit stick. And if you drop it, then you are cursed. And she feels now the school is cursed because every time they try to learn something new, or do something new, and do something good, they end up getting cursed. And she also falls for Cliff, and Jesse Bradford is fine in this. I mean, at least he handled this a whole lot better than, he handled this romance a whole lot better than the one in Swim Fan, if you know what I'm talking about. I mean, look, Shuri Appleby and Erica Christensen, it would be hard to choose between those two, but when you're with one, you probably should stay with them. This is coming from me, by the way. There's a guy named Jan that is straight, but this guy Les is controversial. And boy, the Toros, by the way, the football team, they're as good as the Tomahawks. Yes, that is the name of the team at my high school, or at least it was at the time, the Tommies, as they could have been called. Because we really do care about Native American culture here. Some people do. Unfortunately, I think the people in positions of power didn't necessarily care. But yeah, they were as good as my team in 2000. We had a 6'5" quarterback and couldn't do anything with that. Adam Pine was his name. He was a good guy. So the Clovers show up, and it's on. It's on, like, I believe Donkey Kong, I believe, as they said back then. God, I'm 44 years old and white. And the budding romance between Torrance and Cliff. He makes her a mixtape, but then ends up seeing her with Aaron, who is a little bit too forceful with her, in the sense he's still trying to hold on to her and have both. Then we get the Spirit Fingers saying, Sparky Pulaski, those aren't Spirit Fingers, these are Spirit Fingers. A lot of hilarity. 2 Unlimiteds, get ready for this. It's just fun. It's just meant to be fun. It's ridiculous. It's silly. And there are obsessive parents at this cheer competition. But then Torrance and the others realize that, oh my God, this guy's been going up and down the coast teaching the same routine to various teams. So because they have won so many championships in a row, the Toros, they end up getting a pass into the finals, but they got to learn new stuff. And essentially, they have to learn new dance. They're going to learn stuff like, interpretive dance. They're going to learn from musicals. They're going to learn swing dance, even mime. I don't know why they need to do mime. But it's kind of nice to see, people actually putting in the effort and everything. There's also, I believe, a brother, Justin, that is a bit of a... He looked halfway a putz back then. Maybe he still is. I don't know. He just looks like the type of kid that would try to beat people up, but then the first time that somebody pushed back against him, he would instantly crawl into a ball and just die. And I'm not just saying, just a look on his face. The snot-nosed little bitch that he was. But just bring it, this kind of stuff. They're going to go to the competition. The Toros are, but unfortunately the Clovers aren't. Oh no, they couldn't raise the money. So Torrance is like, they got to go to the competition because we got to beat the best, and they deserve to go, especially after what has been done to them the last number of years. She gives Gabrielle Union's character a check, and basically she just rips it up right there. Bitch. I mean, I sort of get it, but rude. And then they end up actually getting on a talk show, Pauletta, and they end up getting into the goddamn competition. They get sponsored, I believe. And Cliff is like kind of ignoring Torrance, and Torrance had broken up with Aaron. Says, he talked about how she wasn't captain material. Well, it just turns out you're not boyfriend material. Bye-bye, that kind of stuff. Because Kirsten just being great here at this point. This is when she was still just on her, on her rise. And just really just having a lot of fun with the role. And you could tell everybody had a lot of fun with this, especially based on the outtakes. And competition goes good. It comes down to 3 schools. Missy ends up telling Cliff to be aggressive, be aggressive, be aggressive, that is, and get and understand what's going on with Torrance trying to make amends because you clearly like each other. So, there's a point where Les sees this one guy named Tim, at least some call him that, and maybe a budding romance there, but we couldn't have that in 2000 because that'd be just too controversial. And they end up coming down to 3 teams. The Toros get in 2nd place. One school from Mississippi gets in 3rd place. That's fitting because I actually don't think that if they had 4th place, the team in Mississippi could have counted that high. And East Compton Clovers end up winning the $20,000, which seems really low even for back in 2000, but nevertheless. So, Tommy and Cliff end up together. We get Mickey's Bewitched playing over the end credits and the outtakes and stuff like that. And it's fun. It's cute. It's adorable. It gets through my black heart. And it's still enjoyable after 25 years. And will probably be enjoyable in another 25 years. Assuming I am still on this earth in another 25 years. And assuming the world has not been irradiated by that point. But before the world is irradiated, I just wanted to finish up this review by saying thank you guys very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on Bring It On in the comments. What are your thoughts on the sequels? Does anybody remember any of the sequels? What was your favorite of the trash sequels? So, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rittland, and until we bring it on again, happy trails to you.